to Divas, Diamonds, and Dollars podcast. We empower career women, business owners, and yes, late bloomers with the tools and strategies for living a bolder, fuller life. Each week, we give you the key success principles on leadership, business, and personal finance. Why follow us to get ahead and succeed at a higher level? Gentle persons, we are your hosts, Larisa Troche and
I am Cecilia Benford.
okay, well, in case you didn't know this, I do have to tell you that getting to your what is not the end of the
Mhm.
process. We're talking about our Grim to Great challenge. So you are not finished quite yet. The what of the matter, your master plan, your particular problem you solve, and the unique way you solve it. Okay, that's just the very beginning of the heavy lifting. We still have a wee bit more work to do. So I'm just suggesting that knowing your what critical is a very good beginning for your next steps, which is your how to make the magic happen. From last week, you remember, and step one of the Grim Great Challenge, we helped you gain clarity and positioning, which I mean, seriously, that shoot, right?
Mhm.
Because that's what we struggle with. We're over there overthinking things. We're second guessing ourselves. We're looking over the fence at what other people are doing. So hopefully by now, if you did your homework, you have your unique value proposition, your target audience, who's your avatar, who are you serving, your authority position, how do you want to be seen and known? What type of thought leader will people associate with your name? And of course, like I said, your first business concept, hello, multipreneurship 101. Well, the next step is to lay out the how of it all. What you need to do next to bring your dream to fruition. It's not a mental exercise. We're ready to go.
Mhm.
Okay, now I already said gaining clarity on your major goal is, I feel, such a relief. It makes you feel like you have already crossed the finish line. But wait, there's more. Knowing what you have to offer is wonderful. However, you also need to create the how to's. Everything you need to do consistently, there's that ugly word, what? To push out your deliverables to your clients. So today is about the genesis, drum roll please, because it can't get more exciting than that. The genesis of your operating manual. Ooh, the crowd goes wild. Wow. Ah. Okay, that's
Mhm.
not how that works, but you got to have it, gentle persons.
So true, so true. So, in keeping with our format of being clear, as you said, clarity, laying out the steps. So let's go back. Every now and then we have to tell you what we introduced, what we talked about. So we introduced the concept of the how in episode 261, the 4 P's for your profit. The episode provided a brief overview of bringing your dreams to life. In this episode, we're going to take a deeper dive and fill in the blanks. Well, let's get to it, shall we? So, 5 bridges. In its simplest form, there are only 6 levels between your today and your most exceptional tomorrow. How about that? You know, that sounds like an easy number to handle. So, over the next several minutes, we will map them out for you. Do not skip any steps, and we further recommend that you go through each level sequentially. Discipline and focus, ladies and gentlemen. So, the primary thing that sets your business apart from the next company providing the same product or service really is your delivery system. I know I'm all about the delivery system, your framework, the very way you fulfill the promise of what you offer. I want to say, we can use words like I'm impressed, or I was impressed, but I can just simply say you'll know it when you see it, right? From somebody else. So, with that in mind, just keep that goal in mind. This is where you flesh out your business philosophy, promotions, and packages that create your business offerings. So, what does that look like in practice? Do not wait. Yes, you must have policies, procedures, and checklists. I know for a fact this is really where people are probably, well, sometimes it's a toss-up between this and marketing. However, it's those little attention to detail, right? Don't wait. Determine and write your policies. Yes, you got it in your head. Yes, you know what your processes are, but what about something happens and something changes and you're like, oh, okay. And you wing it. No, you want to be consistent. Write your policies, write your procedures and checklists before you begin, or certainly as you go. But don't wait till after the end because you will not remember everything. Why is this important? This ensures consistent delivery every time and allows you to replace yourself. Yes, you want to replace yourself so that you are working on or above the business one day. That is what we are after. That's what we talk about. That's our consistent messaging to you. Okay. So there are apps that can translate voice to text or screen captures as you do the task. I find that just really remarkable. I'm a little slow with some of these things, but I will always say, hey, we got tools at our disposal that, gosh, I can remember the things that I've done in the past. It's like, oh, where were you when? But we got through it then, but this is even better. So, yes, AI can definitely write your standard operating procedure first drafts, and they can do it pretty quickly.
You know, we are so out of, I'm using the we word. Let me take ownership. I am fresh out of excuses for not running the world. I mean, first of all, I don't want to because it's too much work. But the tool, as I said, the tools that we have, and I'm just every time I learn something new, it's like mind blown each and every time. I'm like, this, maybe I'm just so easily to impress. I don't know. But I will say in terms of AI that can write your SOPs, one that I have my eye on, I admit I have not tried it, but maybe you can try it and report back. But there's an app, if you will, or software called Scribe, which writes your SOPs. And it sounded wonderfully um, user friendly. And I'm all about user friendly because I want to do
Mhm.
the things. I just don't want to break my brain while I'm doing the things.
Mhm.
And honestly, I did think about Scribe in terms of training my day staff. Um, because I just don't understand why folks why are they fighting it? Just do the thing. Anyway, so I'm always looking at, faster, better, stronger, and that seems like one that I really need to check out. But I got a lot of toys in my toy box, so do I need to add another one? Not today, not today. So anywho, somebody use that report back. Or if you're already using it, let me know. Now, positioning and packages, I don't know how often people use that word positioning, but that's very important in how you are perceived by your marketplace. Okay. So positioning, if you will, is a way you define your value in a manner of speaking. Are you entry level? Are you what the po folks use? Are you mid-grade or top shelf? Why not aim for that top shelf, right? So you may know that many new business owners underprice their offerings, causing the business to suffer. And so I don't want you to be entry level. How about that? That's my opinion, but I'm gonna throw it out there. Um, the market, of course, will tell you if you're right or wrong, but in any case, trying to compete on price is a quick way to the bottom. So, I mean, do your homework, do some research. We want to feel that we are the only one doing the very thing that we do, but we're not.
Mhm.
Someone else is doing it. And frankly, if someone else is doing it, well, there's a market. So that's the good news. But also have AI do some research to find out what the other folks are charging and price accordingly, or maybe a little bit above. You are headed for top shelf country. You're not at the entry level bargain bin. Okay. Nope. Nope. May use word nope. Okay. So packages are important for repeat business. At some point, not at some point. Ideally, the goal is, right, people who see us, they know us, they trust us, and oh my gosh, they cannot wait to buy. Well, you
Mhm.
don't want to buy this one time. So we're not looking for one and done. That's not great for sustainability. Repeat business, even better, evergreen income, and that's a whole different conversation. Actually, it's not a different conversation. Let's discuss. But let me finish my thought. Okay. I'm back. I'm back.
Somebody's
Otherwise,
excited.
you'll be beating the bushes every day for the next sale. So when you have something wonderful, you must give people the opportunity to buy something else. They're looking and they loved it. They got the results that were promised. And you want when they come back to the store, you want to well, here you go. Right? Have it ready for them. So you just can't be a one-trick pony. I guess if that's really what I'm saying. So honestly, if you only have one item, you're working too hard, and that's not what we're about, right? You need the next thing. What can you offer after the first purchase? Which pieces make sense to sell together as a package? So again, you have made we I'm thinking about all the things I should have said. So anyway, consider your freemiums. That's what I call your free downloads, your free teaser item that provides value. It's just no cost way to say, hi, here I am. Check out what I can do for you, right? So you have your freemiums. That is part of this second step two. Create your freemiums. But okay, uh, and maybe, again, depending on the person, what stage of their journey they're in, this particular item is going to, maybe it's going to solve everything. But as they grow and become, they're probably going to be looking for the next level up. And you want to be here and say, why, yes, I can help you with that. Here you go. So anywho, what can you offer also in a one-to-many format, right? We're not trying to have you work 12 hours a day talking to 12 different people because that's a
Mhm.
lot. That's called burnout, babe. That's not what we're here for. Um, yes, the one to many format offers you more bang for your buck, so do lean into that. Get paid many times with one offer, one session. Uh, on the other hand, sure, you can do one-on-one. That is fine once in a while, but again, not trying to make you work that hard. Uh, but if you do offer an individual one-on-one opportunity, then price it properly. And by that, I mean at a premium price point. Your time is valuable. And so, depending on how you package your offerings, and I say package, we're thinking brain work, not a product necessarily, although that's a conversation for a different day. My specialty, if you will, is brain work, it's not products. Um, Anywho, so that is one thing. So I mentioned continuity income, and that was the other piece that, again, where am I going to put it in this wonderful six-level process? Continuity income, evergreen income, that is perhaps your evergreen um, intellectual property. Create it once, sell it many. Or you may have a service, if you will, that lends itself to memberships or subscriptions. Again, that's to create it once, get paid many. So evergreen/continuity income is, I want to say the end goal, but it is definitely a very high goal because again, where would I put it in this wonderful list of things to do? But you do need to consider where I know where I'm going to put it, your intellectual property. Okay, I'm back. She's back.
Work,
Okay,
work.
all right. So, anywho, your schedule and your rhythm, right? So,
Mhm.
once you determine how your business will be run broadly and narrowly, you will, of necessity, need to create the time to make it so, Larisa. Um, Look, we get busy, life happens, we got people, we got fur balls, I'm in the throes of fur ball town and I'm just don't know what to do with myself right now. But anyway,
Mhm.
we have to make the time. And so a business a day will keep the creditors at bay or some other silly rhyme, right? Here's the thing. Today we're talking about your first business. So this is going to apply differently to you, but I'll just say, Like for me, I'll work my real estate one day, I'll do my consulting another day, then it's my community building another day. So it's how you divide up your time when you have multiple businesses. And I'm just going to let you know that reportedly, this is also the method that the world's richest man, the newest trillionaire, uses, focusing primarily on one business a day. Now, it's because he got people. That's how that works. But
Hmm.
still, how you divide your brain time will determine, how successful you'll be. At the end of the day, it's the focus time. So know yourself or your early bird night owl. You must put in the focus time is the takeaway here. So sure, in this case, you're just getting started. So the 9 to 5, that is on the daily, that's 5 days, generally speaking. And so during your 2 to 4 hours of focus time on those days, that's when the magic happens. I cannot, well, again, go back on any of our podcasts that we talk about the focus time. Doing it first thing in the morning, ooh la la. You will
Mm,
feel on fire because you've gotten all the things done. So if you can, and I highly recommend that you figure out a way to make it so, like if you have to
mhm.
get up at 6 o'clock with your dog, I think you could do that, right? Because you're up anyway. So I digress. Let's talk about Marketing Monday, right? So that might be the day you're creating or posting your content. We've got Talking Tuesdays devoted to batch recording your videos. Yes, batch recording. Don't be trying to do things one at a time because you will go
Mm,
cray real quick. Do multiples in one day. Do your week's worth or 30 days if you really got a whole Saturday for
mm,
that type of thing. Woo! Anywho, what did I say? Talking Tuesdays, batch recording. We got Work It Out Wednesdays, could be your visionary work or problem solving or your intellectual property that we just mentioned, right? You got to make your impact lasting. So, what will you create that will be here? Well, long after. Thoughtful Thursdays. This is for your thought leadership through branding, public facing work, and related. So, it's just, again, that's your positioning. You want to be a thought leader in your area. So, you must put your face out there. I just picked Thursday, could be any old day, but anyway, that works. And well, Financial Fridays, I cannot get away from Financial Fridays because it just fits, right? And it's all about the Benjamins, keeping track of your cash flow.
mm.
You're in it to make some money, so you need to mind your P's and Q's, your dollars and cents of it all. So why not do it Financial Fridays? As you grow, each of those days might actually have a business or investment focus, but to start, you can manage the facets of your business a day at a time. So think about how you will split up your time to pencil in, no, don't pencil in, use ink.
Mhm.
Write down your focus time, beginning of your day, end of the day. Maybe you can use your lunches differently. But anyway, make it so. That's the hard part.
Yeah, I love the way you, of course, named your days, and that's important, really, really important to be creative. What works for you? And so, you mentioned Marketing Monday, which I'm going to talk about next, marketing. What works for you? I like the word creation because that's what you got to do. You got to create. And then your last thing, when you said make it so, that's what we're talking about. Delivery, action. Okay. Um, Friday happens to be, so I like the financial Fridays, but Friday for me is typically my thought day. So it's something like once you create a habit, that's the point I want to make here. You will stick to it. It doesn't really change it because we're sort of creatures of habit. I was talking to somebody the other day, and we talked about our retirement plus days that we don't really retire. If you've always worked a certain way during your career, most likely you're going to continue to work that way, is where you're putting your time and how you divide it up. Few people are sitting around putting their feet up, but the point that we want to share is be thoughtful, intentional, sequential. It's all about planning, right? So, with that being said, I feel like you know, those are the things that people fall back on. or away from, or whichever way you're looking at it, and they look up and say, "Oh, what happened?" So that's why I tend to repeat this so much because I'm in a position where I talk to a lot of people and see some of the shortfalls. But anyway, in as much as possible, you will be tasked with penciling out your marketing plan. Guess what? You got to do that 6 to 12 months in advance because how you market and plan is going to inform what's next that you need to do, right? What you got to stay on top of. So create 12 marketing campaigns. The word campaign is significant. Don't just, oh, I got to do marketing. Campaigns with specific goals. Be as detailed as possible. Name the purpose of the campaign. What do you hope to accomplish? Format. What does that look like? Print, digital, combination thereof? 12 marketing campaign with specific goals, details, format. About your deployment launch date. I put this in the category if you don't write it down, if you don't have that as a goal, you don't meet it. Deployment launch date. And then what is the runtime and the outlet? Is it going to be social media vehicles, snail mail, etc.? I paused because I was thinking about how post is just going up again this month.
Oh,
And
I
it's
missed
like,
that.
yeah, it's like, so all these things though make an impact on what you got to do, right? So, post is going up. Well, I might not want to do that, but that's you staying on top of the business. How's that going to impact maybe what you did before? Now you need to do something different. Okay. Truly, we've talked about the tools, the tech tools that are out there. So, automation is the way to go. Use a scheduler at a minimum, plenty of them out there. Zapier is still a hot topic after all these years. AI is still, well, not still, AI is all in the mix. I'm telling you, it's we live in interesting times. So, is your head on a swivel? Yeah, it might be. So, do you want to keep up? Absolutely. But AI can create and handle scheduling for you. I know it's a little creepy, but yeah, yeah, it can. It can. But you know what? I said it. Some of us name our AIs. Your AI may be a she. My AI happens to be a she. So whether it's a she or a he, there you go. Get help. Get help. People still struggle with that, don't they? Why is that? All the good advice says we need help. So don't struggle with it. Get the help. And what does that look like? Find a part-time virtual assistant. They're out there. There are things that you read about that would make you think that all people or freelancing is all over the place. There are still people who want to work. And there are people, part-time VAs will work very well for many people for what you're trying to do. But you can also hire a freelancer. They're out there too. You just have to, be doing some of the things we've talked about in the past. How do you network? How do you find these things? But you can hire a freelancer to take care of this not so fun task. When you're doing marketing stuff, even though you're creating and what have you, you tend to feel like it's busy work or it's administrative. Well, kind of, sort of, but you got to do it.
Or it has to be done, not necessarily by your own
Oh,
little
yeah, yeah, yeah.
digits.
That's right. That's right.
Um, and so, again, for your first time out, we are suggesting little moonlighting and magic. Now, starting your business while you're still working 9 to 5, I'm suggesting it's a smart move. You really can have your cake and eat it too. We primarily recommend using what you know. I already talked about brain power, so you don't have to worry about inventory or overhead. I mean, you may have deep pockets and maybe that's what you do, but I think you're making it harder on yourself to get started. So anyhow, we've had years of practice working from home over the past, I was going to say 5 years. Let's go with several years at this point.
Mhm.
Am I right? So in this familiar environment, you can work from your command post confidently and with authority, boss lady. So Do not poo-poo the idea of working, moonlighting, building your business as you are still working a 9 to 5, because there's something to be said about a regular paycheck and the all important benefits. I'm just saying. So let's have a little
Yes,
wrap up and recap, if you would, please, ma'am.
right. And you reminded me, uh, Cecilia Morris, the interview with her, that was one thing she brought out about, yeah,
Yeah.
needing to work the 9 to 5 while trying to start up some other business. And I thought that was, here's a person who's actually doing that. Makes sense. Because otherwise we hear it's too many people just want to jump out there. I wouldn't recommend it without doing the steps we're talking about, right? 5 easy steps and you're on your way. So building a strong foundation of clear, well thought out processes is your first line of defense against problems. You just have to be thinking that way. You must think that way. So spelling everything out up front lets you stay clear and focused on delivering the goods. Again, that is what you're after. You are about the action of delivering the goods. And then finally, starting strong so you can finish strong. Do not skip this important step too. I used to tell my people, start out how you want to end up. And I would surmise that most of you want to end up finishing strong.
Ah, I get a little excited because I want to see you be successful. So in today's episode, we covered step 2 of the Grim to Great Challenge, creating the foundation of your first business, drafting all the necessary documentation. Next up was the pace of it all, timing your launch, bringing it to life. So make sure you join us for our next episode as we build your income diversification streams. We will see you there, Diva. Cheers.